The solar eclipse from February 17 to 19 will change everything, and if you're watching this now, it's not by accident. That sentence is not meant to alarm you. It's meant to wake something inside you that has been waiting. There are seasons in life that rearrange what's already loose. There are windows that amplify what's ready to move. Feb 1719 is one of those windows. How much it changes will depend less on the sky and more on the choices you make while the sky commands your attention. I speak to you as someone who watches spiritual seasons, not with a calculator, but with a pastoral heart that notices patterns. I've seen people walk into a moment like this and come out with a quiet, steady shift that rewrote the next year of their story. I've also seen others let the moment pass and feel the same weight and the same questions 6 months later. This is not about fear. It's about clarity. It's about learning how to recognize a Kairos moment when it knocks. If this resonates, tap like and subscribe. It helps this message reach someone who needs it. You might be feeling it before Feb 17 even arrives, a pressure you can't put a name to, a sudden desire for quiet, a strange restlessness in the chest that wants to be taken seriously. Maybe your sleep has been different. Maybe you find yourself saying, "not yet," to opportunities you used to embrace. Or perhaps you keep rehearsing conversations in your head, or you wake with a single, repeating thought that refuses to go away. These are not signs of weakness. They're sensitivity. They're a tuning fork being struck by something larger than the everyday noise. Some feel this as a tightening, like hands that have been holding on to too many things and suddenly notice the strain. Others feel it as a call to solitude, to step away from the constant bargaining with life. For many, the sense is subtle, a mirror held up to indecision, showing what's ready to be released and what's been propping up old patterns. Maybe you've been living in the space between "I should" and "I won't," and this eclipse will make that space brighter, sharper, so you can finally see it for what it is. I don't say that lightly. I have walked with people through seasons where a single conversation, a clear decision, or a deliberately taken small step opened up months of forward motion. That doesn't mean every small step becomes a miracle overnight. It means the right clarity at the right moment often catalyzes movement. So what is this ring of fire people talk about, and why should you care? The ring of fire is a breathtaking sight, the sun, the moon, and the earth aligning so that a thin, glowing circle appears around the dark silhouette. Symbolically, imagine that circle as a light that refuses to be fully extinguished. It exposes the outline of what remains when the glaring noise is softened. The eclipse is not a magic wand, nor is it destiny written in stone. Think of it as a magnifier or a revealing light. It intensifies what you're already carrying and shows you where you've been leaving things unfinished. This distinction matters. An eclipse does not force your life to change. It offers intensity and clarity. You still choose how to respond. Call this pastoral interpretation if you like. This is how I read this moment. It's a seasonal crank that can either loosen what binds you or simply illuminate the bindings so you can see them more clearly. The important part is that when something is revealed, it invites action. That action is what shifts the trajectory of your life. If you want to use this window well, you'll need a practical plan. Here are clear, concrete steps you can take before and during Feb 1719, so you position yourself to receive clarity and move with it. These are not rituals with mystical guarantees. They are deliberate acts that remove friction and create space for discernment. First, clear the small, draining tasks. There are always household or administrative things that steal energy without big payoff. An unfiled bill, a lingering email, a stalled project that never reached a defined end. Tackle 5 small things this week that you've been avoiding. Send the message you've deferred. Submit the form you've been postponing. Close the open tabs on your to-do list. Practically, set aside 1 hour and make a checklist. 3 emails, 1 call, 1 small errand. The objective is not to finish your life's work, but to remove loose ends that keep your hands full. Second, address one unresolved conversation. We often carry emotional weight because something important was left unsaid. Identify one person you need to speak with and prepare a short, honest message. It can be a reply that clarifies, an apology that mends, or a boundary that protects. If face-to-face feels impossible, a letter or voice note can be your vehicle. The goal is not perfect words, but principled clarity. You don't need to settle every history, but you can create a pathway forward with courage and humility. Third, declutter an environment that affects you. Our surroundings shape our thinking. Choose one physical space, a bedside table, a desk, a junk drawer, and clear it. Keep only what serves intention. Let go of items tied to regret if they don't hold positive meaning. If an object represents a closed chapter, consider donating it or putting it away. The act of clearing a physical space often mirrors and facilitates the clearing of internal space. Fourth, define one clear intention. This is essential. Not 10 vague goals, not a foggy "I want to be happier." I'm asking you to name one concrete thing you can act on. I will apply to 2 jobs by March 1st. Or, I choose to set a boundary with X by Feb 28. Or, I will start weekly counseling and schedule my first session by March 15th. Write it down in one short sentence. This is your lodestar for the window. The clearer the statement, the easier it is to measure whether opportunities align with it. Fifth, make a small, immediate move in the direction of that intention. If your intention involves relationship, send a text that opens a conversation. If it involves career, update one section of your resume and reach out to a contact. Momentum begets momentum. The point is to transform the intention from idea to movement. Even a tiny step reduces the friction of inaction. Sixth, practice an optional, simple micro-ritual to mark your readiness. Take a sheet of paper and write your one-line intention in the present tense. I choose X, or I will action by date. Fold it and place it somewhere visible for the eclipse window, or keep it in your journal. This is not superstitious, it's symbolic. Symbols help our mind map commitments into action. If it helps, read the line aloud once, quietly, with conviction. Then set the paper down and return to practical steps. Seventh, prepare your heart with a moment of quiet each day during the window, 10 minutes of focused silence, not to demand an answer but to listen and to notice. Turn off notifications for that period. Put your phone face down, sit with the intention you wrote and ask, is this my next true step? Let the answer come in the form it will, an image, a feeling, a memory, or a sudden clarity about what to do next. Let me give you a short example of how this has worked for someone I know. A woman I'll call Maria felt the strange pressure you might recognize. Restless nights, an urge to slow down, and a long-standing indecision about leaving a job that had outlived its purpose. She followed a simple plan. She cleared small work tasks that were draining her, asked a trusted friend for counsel, set a clear intention. I will hand in my resignation and have a plan in 60 days. And took one immediate step by updating her LinkedIn profile and reaching out to 3 contacts. During a solar moment months later, a conversation came, unexpected and timely, that aligned with her intention. The opening didn't hand her a dream job on a platter, but it created a clear door she could choose to walk through, and she did. The changes unfolded over months. They didn't happen all at once. That's the pattern I want you to see. Clarity invites alignment. Alignment invites opportunity, and you still have to move through the doors. After the eclipse, watch for subtle external signs that tend to follow this kind of catalytic clarity. You may receive invitations that feel oddly specific, a dinner request, a message from someone who hasn't been in touch, or an email about a project that seems tailor-made. Conversations that once felt circular might suddenly land with new tone and substance. Ideas that were once foggy can come in sharp and bright, like a window opening after a storm. Opportunities may arrive clustered, as if the universe is packaging a few options at once. These are not guarantees, they are tendencies. The correct question in those moments is not, does this mean everything will change? But does this align with the one intention I clarified? Discernment is crucial here. Not every opportunity is for you, even if it looks tempting. Ask pragmatic questions. Does this free me to pursue my intention or distract me from it? Does it lift a weight or add another hidden weight? Who is offering this, and what is their track record? If something feels like progress but keeps you bound to old fears, it may not be an alignment. Use your intention as a filter. Pray, talk with a wise friend, and seek counsel. This is how we partner faith with wisdom. Remember, the impact of this eclipse is phased. Think in seasons rather than a single instant. What happens Feb 17-19 is often the spark. From that spark, things can rearrange across the following 6 months, a pattern I've watched time after time. This is not prophecy as a fixed decree. It's a pastoral observation of how timing works. A moment of clarity generates decisions. Decisions generate openings. Openings generate a new rhythm that becomes obvious as months pass. Mark your journal with dates. Write down what you feel now, what you decide during the window, and what unfolds afterward. When you review in 3 months and again in 6, you'll have a map of how this season affected you. A note about fear. This moment is not a test of your faith or a judgment on your patience. If you have not acted before, you are not failing. Many of us spend years in preparation without recognizing it. The point is now to move with intention, not shame. If you're listening and think, I'm too late, I want to say plainly, you are not late. You are present. Presence matters. Begin where you are with what you have. Let's talk about the difference between destruction and refinement, because language here matters. Some changes cut things away. That can feel harsh, but refinement removes what is dross so the core becomes visible and useful. An eclipse doesn't necessarily destroy. It highlights what needs refining. If a relationship fractures, it may be because it was never aligned with the life you're called to live, and its ending allows something healthier to grow. If a job closes, it can be painful and disorienting, yet it can also free you to pursue meaningful work. The invitation is to hold both realities, grief for what is lost and openness to what is being made. Both can coexist. There will be days in this window when nothing dramatic happens externally. That's fine. A lot of spiritual work is preparatory and silent. Don't measure worth by spectacle. Instead, measure by clarity. If you finish the weekend with one fewer loose end and a single clear intention, you have used the moment well. If you wake with a stronger sense of what to let go of, that's progress. If you make one call you've been postponing, that's movement. I want to offer a simple exercise to help you articulate that one intention if you're struggling to name it. Take a sheet of paper. Divide it in 3 columns. In the left column, write what you want to stop doing. Those draining habits, relationships, tasks that take energy away. Be honest. In the middle column, write what you want to start doing. Practical actions, small habits, steps that move you forward. In the right column, write the single headline intention that connects the middle to purpose. I will do X by date, or I choose this priority. Keep the headline to 1 sentence. If you need an example, stop overworking to avoid decision. Start setting weekly review time. Intention, I will submit my project proposal by April 1st. The middle column fuels the right column. This exercise forces specificity, which is the engine of clarity. Another helpful practice is to create a decision checklist. For any opportunity that comes after the eclipse, ask yourself 3 quick questions. Does this move me toward my single intention? Does it release me from something that has bound me? Is there a practical next step I can take that keeps momentum going? If 2 out of 3 answers are yes, proceed cautiously and with counsel. If none are yes, you can allow yourself to say no without guilt. This checklist trains your discernment to be lean and practical rather than indecisive or reactive. You may wonder about spiritual discernment, how to know whether a prompt is from your own wishful thinking, a real opening, or something else. I suggest combining prayerful listening with practical checks. Sleep on decisions when possible. Consult trusted mentors. Look for repeated confirmations. An idea that appears in different forms across days, a person who shows up multiple times, or opportunities aligning with your stated intention. These patterns are the universe's way of drawing a path. And remember, discernment is not passive, it's a posture. You do your part by clarifying, praying, and seeking wise counsel. God's part, as you believe, is to guide and confirm the direction. There is also a spiritual posture I want to caution against, waiting for a perfect sign to validate your choice. Sometimes we wait for a thunderclap from the sky before we move. Often, the clarity you need comes as a small, steady conviction that grows when you act. Decide with imperfect information and be willing to course correct. A clear intention with imperfect execution will teach you more than perfect waiting ever will. If you're worried about making the wrong choice, remember that decisions made with humility and a willingness to learn are rarely wasted. If you set an intention and later realize it wasn't right, you can alter course. That's not failure, that's refinement. Keep a journal of decisions and outcomes. Write honestly about what you learn. Over time, you will see patterns that reveal where God, providence, or the simple mechanics of life seem to favor clarity. Let me give you a few concrete examples of intentions you might adopt, so you can see the difference between vague desire and clear commitment. Instead of, "I want a better job," try, "I will apply to 3 positions that fit my skill set by March 15th. Instead of, "I need better relationships," try, "I will have 1 honest conversation with a close friend about boundaries in the next 2 weeks. Instead of, "I want more peace," try, "I will practice 10 minutes of focused silence 5 mornings a week and keep a weekly reflection page in my journal." Notice the structure: action, measurable element, and a date or routine. This precision converts longing into strategy. During Feb 17 to 19, be mindful of how you allocate your attention. The window is short, and attention is your most valuable resource. You don't have to overhaul everything in 3 days. You have to clarify and act. That means saying no to things that distract from your intention, even if those things are attractive or feel urgent. Protect your time with the same tenderness you protect a small child learning to walk, gentle, firm, and resolute. I want to emphasize the posture of humility and communal discernment. Don't isolate your decision-making if you can avoid it. Invite 1 or 2 trusted people to hold you accountable. Share your single intention with a friend who will not gaslight you and who will encourage you toward courage. Their perspective will help you avoid blind spots and will celebrate your small wins in the months that follow. As you move through this season, expect refinement rather than perfection. Some things will fall away, others will shift into new shape. Keep a simple record of before and after. Before the window, write down your bearings, what you fear, what you hope for, and the one intention you set. After the window, write down what changes, what conversations you had, and what you sense the next step should be. Revisit that record at 3 months and 6 months. This practice will reveal the domino effect I mentioned, the slow, steady rearrangement that's easier to see with hindsight. Now, I want to invite you into a practical commitment. Pause long enough to say, either aloud or in your journal, a single sentence that names your intention. Don't hedge it, keep it short. Use one of the templates I gave, "I will action by date," or "I choose X." For example, I will send the message to my sister by Feb 20, or I choose to pursue the promotion and will apply to 2 relevant roles by April 1st. Write it down and place it where you can see it during Feb 17 to 19. If you're able, tell one trustworthy person what you chose. That single act of externalizing your intention dramatically increases the likelihood that you'll act. Finally, a pastoral word. Treat yourself with compassion through this season. If you make a choice and it leads to hardship, allow yourself to mourn. If nothing dramatic happens, don't beat yourself up. Spiritual seasons often move like tides. They whisper before they lift. Your job in this window is not to manufacture outcomes, but to position yourself to receive clarity and to act on it with intentionality and courage. So as Feb 17-19 approaches, I encourage you to do the modest practical work. Clear small tasks, resolve one conversation, declutter one space, write one clear intention, take one immediate step, and practice daily quiet for the window. Watch for invitations and conversations that arrive afterward. Use your one-line intention as the primary filter for discerning those opportunities. Keep a journal and review your notes at 3 and 6 months to observe the pattern of change. You are not late. You are present. This season is not a test of your worth, but an opportunity to claim clarity. If you are at a crossroads, allow this window to be the place you choose one honest thing and step forward. If you already feel you have clarity, let this be the time you strengthen that clarity with concrete steps and guarded attention. Either way, move with tenderness toward yourself and with conviction about the small acts that create new paths. May you be granted the courage to let go of what binds your hands, the wisdom to recognize the openings that align with your intention, and the humility to seek counsel when needed. May this window, Feb 17 to 19, be a clarifying light for you, a ring of fire that reveals what is ready to be refined, not to terrify but to purify and orient. Share this with someone at a crossroads and leave a comment with the single intention you're claiming for this window. I'll be watching the comments and praying for clarity for each one.